The giant octopus god, the fury of nature. Adaptation, flexibility, and acceptance. And happy new moon in Gemini. We also have that card out here. We have communication is key. And when I flipped over the Moonology deck to look for this card, this was right on the bottom. So it seems like bursting to the surface, ready, something ready to come forth. I don't know if it's a memory, a message from the subconscious, a secret. We were talking about something hidden coming to the surface. But I also got Gemini on the dice roll too, so really a lot of emphasis on that sign. And 10th house and Pluto as well. But this card, the first thing that came to mind for me with this was an Egregore. And if you practice or are learning about chaos magic, you might know what that is. But basically it's a collective, unconscious, conscious, however you want to think of it. The reason that came to mind is because octopus, they have 9 brains. They have the central one, and then one in each of the arms. It's something like that. Really complex cognition, but it all centers to the one creature, if you will, the giant octopus god. That's what I'm thinking as the Egregore. Like the octopus is the octopus, and then the octopus god is the Egregore. And so I don't know if you have a complex situation happening where it's really, there's a lot of information to manage. There's a lot of people involved, so like a mob mentality, a group think, something like that. But I wanted to get some charms out to see what message might be coming out from the depths, you know, deep sea creature. Let's see. I already see 2 T's. L, D, D, L, A, V, E, S, F, T. Looks like an O, E, another E, 3 E's, L, and a 4th E. Toe. I see toe right away. Something, an obstacle being moved. It's not spelled quite right, but it almost spells vessel, so kind of Egregorian. Low. Something was low, but also spelled wrong again with the E instead of a W at the end. Let's see what charms we have. Cornucopia. Harvest. And this looks like a harvest too, a little pickup truck with some gourds in the back. Leaf, red. Root, foundations. A gold leaf. That just brought to mind, you know, like when they put gold on food for reasons? I don't know what they are, but a little butterfly. Make the food look extra pretty. What is this? A 5? I don't know if this is like a purse, a handbag, or a lock, but it has the number 5 on it. So change. We did mention obstacle. Where is that? Clock chimes. So it could be a lock, an obstacle to change. An airplane. And I just watched that last night because it came up in little cards on the previous reading. Oh, and there's the same butterfly twice. Twinsies, Gemini. Some more reinforcement. So a lot of emphasis on Gemini. Looks like a honey pot. So a lot. Harvest. Good luck. So I think pumpkins and gourds and such are good luck also. Oh, and the dog with the bone. It's reminding me of that fable where the dog sees his reflection on his way home where he already has the bone, but thinks that the bone and the reflection is bigger than his, so tries to get it and ends up losing his prize altogether. Starfish. Another... I think there's something special about their arms too. If they get separated from the main body, I don't know if they grow back or... And this looks like a bat, like a baseball bat. And then the little baseball. A sports ball. Home run. Could point to the, like the honeypot, the cornucopia. And that airplane could be the progress or travel that's being blocked. Or that's been blocked. But maybe with the new moon cycle, something new beginning. I'll just say adaptation and flexibility. So flexibility with how the path is unfolding, because maybe there has been blocks. So let's see. And I would encourage you to look up more about egregores if you're interested. It starts with an E, egregore. It's an interesting concept. Oh, we got two. So 9 of Swords, something nightmarish? And Queen of Coins. The Queen of Coins is in a nightmarish situation? There's like a storyline trying to emerge of like a ruptured kingdom. And I think it's because of this egregore idea. Because you have to have, in order to maintain, I don't know, corrupt rule or whatever, because that's kind of what I'm getting from this. They look similar, both the women in the cards. But in order to maintain corrupt rule, there has to be unity. There has to be a unified front. And there's so much emphasis on Gemini, on the twins, and there's a reputation that goes with that for being two-faced and so forth. So having a persona at the front. But the giant octopus god, maybe it's one against many. Maybe that's what this is about. Is that this one, whomever is represented, maybe that's you, by the giant octopus god, has to act almost as if in 9 minds as one at once. Something like that. Which is a nightmare for a corrupt kingdom, like an army of one. Because that's 9 versus 2, really. Because it looks like 1, but there's so much, like, that fury of nature, being a force of nature. You know, we talk about forces of nature that we can't control, that you have to just go with the flow and whatnot. And I think we usually speak of that in context of an obstacle we're facing. What if we're the obstacle? What if we are the force of nature that Queen of Coins is having to come against? Kind of flipping it on its head. Because that is Pluto in the 10th house to me, that kind of vibe of being that army of one. So what else about this? About this nightmarish situation? Nope. Two of Swords. There's the block. And the... what are they called? The black tooth women? That was an ancient Japanese beauty style, was to paint the teeth black. She's very unsettling. Like, she has kind of a spidery look to her face too. But those almost look like false eyes to me. So there's some sort of hidden blockade. Because there's that moon energy behind her. Hidden illusion. Something was seen without being seen. It's like, I don't know, a trap didn't work? I'm not quite clear on that. But it's like being able to almost like be the obstacle without even being present. Like a phantom. So, what is this about? Actually, I do want to get more yokai in here. I feel like there's a lot involved. I was going to leave it at just the octopus god, but what is this hidden obstacle? So this is the Yokai Oracle and then the Yokai Tarot. Oop, there we go. Came out sideways. Looks like there's two, maybe. Tanuki, raccoon dogs, playfulness, gratitude, lightheartedness, and Tengu, mountain goblins, timing, strategy, and adaptability. This is like a veil, is what I'm getting from this. Like the mask up front. The corruption or something that's collapsing. But adaptability, mention that on this card too, adaptation. And an adaptation, that could be an inherent trait. I'm thinking like evolutionary. And adaptability, that's more like real time. Being able to be flexible within a situation. But this seems like a ruse up front to, I don't know, hide a conflict. Because there's like a duality going on here. There's a Gemini, there's that egregore type feeling. Because that's its own intention of the group taking on its own life, the groupthink, the mob mentality. So what is this concealing? It's kind of awkward with my little my mug warmer there today. Let's see. So what is this ruse concealing? And I mean, new moon energy, the dark moon, very hidden. And I think it's actually a super moon right now. Oh, more new moon. Okay. A new start is coming. Trying to conceal a new start? What? Maybe prevent whatever this ruse is from continuing? Is that it? So the new start would bring the old rule to an end, and that's the nightmare. But there's something more. Like, it's not just a, oh, woe is me, I don't want to lose my power. Like, there's consequence to a changing of power. But this is what I'm kind of having a hard time getting a grip on, is this, like, I almost want to call it like a mega mind, which I don't even think I saw that movie. I saw the memes, but I don't think I saw the actual movie itself. So concealing a new start. It's like there's two different things going on in the same place. Like, there's a front, the perception that everybody's projecting, like everything is fine, happy family, like whatever the context is here. And then behind the scenes, it's like a war for control. So I see some people on the ridge this way. It's almost like they're coming in. It's making me think of Princess Mononoke. They're trying to, like, overtake Irontown. So what? Tell me more about this new moon, this new start. It's like there's a whirlpool with trying to loose from the past and break free into the new start. So what is this new start? How many? 3? I'll take 3. What do we have? The High Priestess, seeing the secrets, 8 of Cups, and the Lovers. So the 8 of Cups is about leaving. And look at that moon. That expression. Like the moon is looking back as the main figure is going forward. And the High Priestess, she holds the knowledge. She holds the unseen. And I think the Lovers, in this particular card, it's a legend of, I might be mixing this up, but when the sun and the moon came together in an eclipse, that's when they got to be together. Otherwise, they were torn apart at all other times, like star-crossed lovers, unable to be with one another, except for a rare opportunity. So trying to prevent like something that has a rare opportunity to begin. I don't know why that is. And it does seem hidden. It's like I'm trying to ground this down out of Chaos Land into like IRL. It'd almost be like if someone, I don't know, prevented some sort of communication that was critical to a new start or a departure or something like that, so that they can remain in control? Because this mentioned timing as well. It's like trying to prevent the stars from aligning. Can't really do that. They will align anyway. Like even that legend of them meeting up on the eclipse, that's what, twice a year? Something like that? So rare for people who want to be together, yes, but at least a couple times a year. But there's a lot of involvement in this. That's what I'm not clear on. What is this group involvement in this? What's that about? What is this group involvement? And I'm just seeing the High Priestess, what she's holding. That looks like a receipt to me, like a CVS. Something's been seen. So what is this group's involvement? This group think, this mob mentality, what's going on? Maybe? What do we have? Is it 2? It's 2 again? So more 2s. More emphasis on that. Noper abo? No-faced creatures. Emptiness, potential, acceptance, and sea monks. Mystery, reverence, and the unknown. Very shadowy, mysterious. This is their involvement. People who just like drama? It's like the thrill that horror movies and haunted houses and stuff give you. Like causing some sort of problem in the kingdom because they can. This would be like rich people who just do stuff to stir the pot because they're bored, because they have enough money and like they won and they don't know what to do with themselves now because they're empty inside. Spent all that time chasing money at the expense of personal development. Because I'm still of the thinking that money in and of itself is not evil. It's how you use it. It's how it doesn't get redistributed to the bottom of the pyramid that everybody's relying on. And this is almost giving me like mad scientist vibes. Like poke it, see what happens. People drunk with power? Is that it? And maybe whoever is on this ridge is some sort of enforcement. Because are they preventing people from leaving? That clock chimed right as I said that. And that can be done in a lot of ways. And I think that's one of the many reasons myself, other people living with trauma didn't get taken seriously, because I'll just give a trigger warning on this. Like, living in things like domestic violence, financial abuse, what have you, those chains are invisible. And you have to walk around with them out in the world, because the perception is the chains. The perception maintains the prison. And there are often like resource issues to where you can't leave. And people will say things like, when you open up, like, oh, you're not trapped, like, it's just a mindset. Like, nope. This is the listening part, not the you tell me you know better about my situation than me part. People are really bad at that, for the most part. So what about this, I don't know, shadowy group, this bored, spoiled, need to find a hobby group? What's going on with this? Why are they so drunk with power? I feel like I'm still searching for the question. Is that right? New moon in Pisces, meditate and contemplate. Maybe they don't even know. Running on autopilot. And if we want to stick with the Egregore, I heard a magpie out there. They're in the throes of what they've created, basically. They're now kind of at the mercy of their own creation. Because at Egregore, that doesn't even need to be intentional. It's like, it's chaos magic. Like, that's the, I don't know, theme of it. I was trying to think of the right word. But if they all have this collective, like, malintent, want to poke things with sticks, see what happens. Turns out it hurts. Shocker. But there's also something preventative that's keeping people in place. Because it's new moon, new moon, new moon. The new needs to come in. So what are they doing to prevent? Like, or how? Could be financial abuse. Could be like omission, like restricting communications that somebody was supposed to receive. Messing with transportation, like right before something important, that's a thing. Oh, that came right out. Page of Cups. A message. So messing with a message, interfering with the message. An emotional message. Could have resulted in emotional impact. This being maybe intercepted in some way. That'd be like deliberately putting the wrong apartment number or something And, like, if this is something someone is doing through mail, last I heard, the postmaster has like a 98% conviction rate. Like, if you're going to commit crime, don't do it through the mail. They'll figure it out. It's just a matter of time. But a message interfered with to prevent a new start? Oh, and Pisces, that's more duality. Somebody's two-faced? What was this message? Oop. The sun in reverse. Amaterasu. Like chief deity. And Shinto. This would be like the emperor trying to reach a subject, and then Peter Baelish just came to mind. He was supposed to like deliver the message, send the raven, whatever, and just like, oops, didn't, or I don't know, sent a sick one that he knew wasn't gonna make it. Like some sort of deliberate sabotage that isn't obvious, but has been seen. Like, that's what I'm getting. Like, at this point in whatever is going on, it's been seen. Because this is the new moon in Gemini following that new moon in Taurus conjunction with Algol. So it would be like the truth that Medusa is the victim. Like that being seen, and that Athena failed her. So what about the sun? I don't quite understand. How did they stop this? How did they stop this message? Well, okay. Eight of Wands in reverse. Yeah, it was stopped. Something was interfered with. And Page of Wands. So another page. Page of creativity. Student of ideas. Because Eight of Wands is fast motion, a message. This is also, I think of it as an evil eye card. Sending all that energy in one person's direction. So also fits with the Egregore theme. And it looks kind of like they're guarding that house back there. Like Gandalf. Like, you shall not pass. No one past this point. Like they were guarding the Page of Cups. That's kind of what I'm getting. Like feigned concern. Like someone who would block like a business deal or advancement in a company or something like that. Like, oh, they're just dealing with so much right now and whatnot. You need to speak to that person. If whomever is listening, listen to someone else besides that person, it's your fault this happened. You didn't do the due diligence. There's no excuse for just taking someone else's word without actually speaking to that person. And that kind of thing happens all the time. And I know it's like a manipulation tactic and whatnot, but that's what is it, like the standards, like standard procedures are for, like, okay, you can say whatever you want, but I have this checkbox that says speak to this person before withdrawing an offer. That, like, how did you even get involved? Like, how did you even get in the middle of this, you know? But that's kind of what I'm getting, that some sort of message was interfered with for feigned concern. I think that's the right word, feigned. Faked. Yes, says the clock. I'm going with that. So what was this feigned concern? What ultimately blocked the message? Because it's one thing for this person to attempt, but it actually took someone else going, oh yeah, person who this message is not for, I'll allow you to interfere with it. So what blocked this? Because this, like, this is keeping someone in prison. Because it's new moon, new moon, new moon. This is a new start that someone didn't get, that it seems like was theirs. So what blocked this? What was the... We cannot look past this. I'm so worried about them. The last time you asked them how they were doing. That's going to be the kind of thing that, if and when something like this gets questioned, like, wait, you guys haven't spoken for 6 months? What? You failed to tell us that part, that these are outdated text messages and such. So what? Kodama. Oh, Princess Mononoke. Yeah. The little tree spirits, they rattle. They rattle their little heads. Harmony, balance, and natural flow. I just got a really icky feeling. So in that last reading, we were talking about, like, prejudice and bigotry. It's like we can't let the natural order be disturbed. Which, kind of a hard sell, depending on who you're speaking to, but how do I put this? Power begets power. So if you're trying to appeal to someone with power, that might very well be someone older than you, someone of a different generation. So, like, leaning into cultural norms from their era and kind of letting them make their own conclusions, you know? Like any and all excuses somebody would make about, like, oh, women being too emotional. Meanwhile, men are flipping tables in the conference room. And not to say there aren't moments where flipping tables are appropriate, but, you know, the cleansing of the temple in the Bible. That one didn't get taught as often when I was younger. But so what about this harmony? What harmony would be disturbed? Or it's even, could even be like socioeconomic class. Like, we can't let a pleb rise through the ranks, because then the other ones might get the idea that they can do it too. Something like that. Like, have to keep the hierarchical nonsense going. No, we don't, because it hurts people. It doesn't help us all. So what about this natural order? that type of thing that would get twisted to be very reasonable. Sounds so okay right there on the surface. Nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable moon. Something in progress? That rare opportunity for things to come together. Maybe that is upcoming, another, like, eclipse opportunity. Could be that. Immutable. It's more Pisces. I think Gemini is mutable too. So, what isn't set in stone? Five of coins. Oh. Who's gonna get left out in the cold? Well, I think it should be the people who are discriminatory. Look at how they treat others. No business being in charge of anything in a kingdom. And especially if they're keeping people prisoner. Like, you do not have the authority to be controlling people's lives. And maybe that is why this army of one is needed. Going up against like an entire think tank, if you will, of we must maintain the status quo. But your status quo requires you stepping on people to be successful. That it cannot go on. And I don't understand why you would want it to. Like, I understand the need for, or the desire to maintain one's position, resources, whatever. But if it requires hurting other people and you're fighting for it, now I see you. Like, now I see who you are. And that's the giant octopus god to me. And even that high priestess energy as well, with the receipts of seeing things through 9 minds of, well, it keeps saying how much this benefits us, how much it benefits the serfs to till the fields and then have to pay the landlords to live there. But where are my benefits? That's the part that doesn't come through, and we keep fighting for this same system that continues to rely on harming others as its fuel. That's not okay. And I guess I just don't understand the justification for, like, how you can justify that in your mind. Justifying harm to people that apparently they see as less than them. Because it's one thing to be caught in the gears of capitalism and only have so much power and be needing to survive and trying to raise the alarm about what's going on, but that doesn't mean fighting for it to remain the same. We've got 6 of Cups and the World in reverse. This is not a good situation, and it's still going on. Maybe that's what this new moon cycle is about. You know, because we're kind of forecasting ahead for the next 28 days. And maybe what we're seeing looking forward is how much progress in this situation, because it could be macro, because it kind of feels bigger. Seeing how much This is not like a loving situation. You know, this is the soulmate nostalgia card, Six of Cups. It's not caring for the children either, too, because this is a card that references kids, memories. And then the world is cycles that aren't ending. It's just going on. But interesting that it repositions this fish, maybe Pisces, to be going forward. But maybe because I think it's technically a conjunction, the moon and Uranus in Gemini, but this is the seed of that cycle of Uranus in Gemini, of the revolutionary, the rebellion, the changing things in a really fundamental way, because they're not working for the people who it's supposed to work for, and for the people who it relies on for its continued functioning. So maybe the scope will be changing a little bit with readings going forward. Might be looking at larger macro view things. I think that'll be interesting. We'll see. And I think continuing on with the self-care theme that's been emerging in readings as of late, because if you're dealing with either a situation where you are up against a force of nature that you can't control, or you are a force of nature that cannot be controlled, or both clashing, you're going to need some self-care. And maybe a movie night. Prospect. I really like this one. It's got that indie sci-fi practical effects sort of thing. I really liked it. But this is something that I do often, is I schedule like dinner and a movie night with myself. I'll put it in my day planner, write it down from little cards that I get through these readings. And sometimes it helps me work through a situation that I might be dealing with. Because if it came up in a reading, it might have some relevance and whatnot. Or it's just a signal to kick back and put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Actually put it like face down away from me. So I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. And I think we get lost in the rat race and all the hubbub and such of prospects, and more, gotta do more, gotta achieve, have to win, whatever. Slowing down is a really important part of being able to make progress and obtain whatever bounty that you're after. So whatever movie sounds good to you, if you want to make dinner, if you want to order dinner, if you want to go out to dinner, make it a whole thing, take yourself on a date, you know, that whole idea. Whatever helps you decompress those 9 minds and reduce the mental chatter a little bit. So overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates, and if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.